Welcome everyone to the driver rankings for the last 6 races of the F1 calendar. We do this every, now that F1's 24, every 6 races. We're back in it. We're going to do our driver rankings, which is going to be pretty crazy because we've even added drivers to this because we, of course, lost a few along the way. But yes, I am Ajax. I'm joined by Sahwgunn. Hello, Sahwgunn.
Hello, everyone. Let's get back to this ranking, guys. We've had we had some interesting picks in the first 6 races. I'm pretty sure will change a lot, right?
Yes, exactly. So very excited for this. Hopefully it'll go well. Usually for me, I end up changing my mind about 50 times, so I'm going to try and not do that for this one.
Yeah. Little change that we have is Colapinto. We're gonna rank basically Colapinto's 7 races as Ewan got 5, and
Yes,
that's what we basically did for the first 6 races. Obviously, Colapinto jumped in, but we still remained with Ewan, and now we're ranking Colapinto's 7 races in the Alpine. He was supposed to get like 6, and if he doesn't perform, he's out, and he's still there. So I think it's good for him. But I guess we can start with Colapinto straight away, from the bottom to the top. Obviously, you can have your own order. My ranking for Colapinto would be, I guess, lower than Duan's for the first 5 races. I'm gonna give him a 4. Just a second. Format. Okay, one sec. No, this is not that.
change of format to make
Yep.
sure the things work.
I'm kind of brewing. Okay, there it is.
I'm excited to hear why you thought of 4.
4 is okay. Maybe I will change it to 3 now that I think about it. Colapinto has really not impressed me. In fact, he's way below my expectations, even though I didn't have many. As I said last time when I talked about him. But he looks just so far away from Pierre. And if it was only for that, he's also crashing a lot. Like his first qualifying session, and he binned it. So not looking great for him. I don't know if he manages to stay past the summer break. There are some talks between the other drivers in Alpine as well for a potential replacement mid-season. I think Bottas is one of the biggest names out there, but also he's linked to Cadillac, so never know. Basically, not showed anything in my opinion. Like the one good weekend that he had was like Canada, and that wasn't great. So yeah, that was just Gas's off weekend. So in this case, Colapinto, very, very bad. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Fair enough. I see where you're coming from. I thought I was going to give him a high score here, but you've already talked me out of it. I don't think it's like worse than doing so. Like maybe I expect more from him, but I don't think it's worse than doing. So that's not what I'm meant to type. So I'm going to put a 2. As I said, I just don't think he's actually performing worse than Doin did. I think he's just at a similar level, and that's why I'm going to give him the same one I gave him. I do expect more from him, but I think to rate him worse would be cruel. But yeah, I do hope that he sort of gets maybe more time. There were talks before the British Grand Prix that he wouldn't make it, and then he had all the crashes happen and didn't actually start the race. So perhaps they're giving him more time after that.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. Okay. I guess Duan is getting skipped, so there's no rating. There's not gonna be any rating there. And then move on to Gasly's teammate. It's very difficult to perform in the worst car on the grid, as we've seen over the years. But considering that Alpine is the highest scoring bottom the bottom place constructor in the history of F1 already. Yeah, the only thing good about that team right now is Pierre Gasly, and he's doing really well. Unlucky at times as well. Had a had a couple of off moments that he didn't look like didn't look like the Pierre Gasly we know, but still a very solid 6 races, I would say. I'm gonna give him a lower rating than first 6. Maybe I should reconsider it, but I feel like 6 is just fine for Pierre.
Yeah. Points in Spain, points in the British Grand Prix as well.
Okay, I mean British Grand Prix is heavily improving my score. To be fair.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Also, okay.
In the worst card in the grid, I think he's doing very well. It always shocks me that they got rid of Ocon. I think that duo was fantastic. Obviously, they had a poor car last year. They had a poor car this year, but hopefully they'll work their way back. But yeah, I can't imagine that Gasly would want to probably stay for much longer if the car keeps giving this results. He's very driven, obviously a former race winner. I'm going to give him a 7. I'm thoroughly impressed by him thus far.
Is it recency bias? Because I mean, I'm not saying he didn't do well, but that performance in Silverstone is like a one-off. We didn't show that into the remaining 5.
I firmly think that's the worst car in the grid. And how many points has he picked up in these last? So he came 8th in. He got picked up 4 points in Spain, and then was it 6 points in Britain?
To be fair, Spain was a little different scenario.
He's picked up 12 points. He has 17 points overall.
Okay.
So, 19 points overall. Yeah. So he's the majority of the points have come from this half of the calendar, and it's in. I think beforehand, I don't think it was the worst car because you had the Saubers, you had the Haas was pretty solid. I still think the Haas is probably one of the worst cars as well. But now I think those two are firmly the worst car, and they're still doing. He's still getting points. So
okay, you changed my mind. I changed it from the 6 to 7.
I think this is a first time in history where I've changed your mind and you haven't changed mine.
Okay. Okay, where's it? Where's the average? Okay, sec. Okay, what is that? What did I do? Technical difficulties.
I'm very confused. Technical difficulties, everyone.
I have no idea what was this. Wow, I'm gonna. It's so very. What?
We need a bit. We'll be right back. Street.
Okay, I'm gonna change it to this. Okay. I figured out the problem.
Okay.
1 sec. I need to understand the formula, basically.
Right back.
Okay.
Yes, I understand you.
Okay.
There you go.
That's fixed now, and just for the 2 drivers that have only 1 rating. It looks weird, but as we'll go through, the ratings will update and will be fixed. So currently, only Doohan's, Colapinto's, and Gasly's rating are actual ratings. Okay. Back to ratings, and I'm gonna go with Liam Lawson now. It's not looking good. He had a very good performance in Austria, but other than that, it's not looking good for him. I'm really worried that he's gonna lose his seat to Arvid Lindblad. Probably not.
Which I think I called
the summer break. I think you did.
I think I called it last year when we did our predictions for 2026. Maybe I didn't call that we'd lose him, but I think I said yeah. Oh, or maybe I said Mini instead, but that would make sense. That's Alpine. Anyway, you were saying.
Yep. Pretty much just one good moment, and that's the only thing saving his rating. He's gonna get a higher rating than Colapinto, but only a 4. That's maybe generous. Isaac Hajar is doing really well, but he's still a rookie.
Yeah,
and if you're not beating a rookie who's also not, I mean, Hajar wasn't hyped at all, pretty much going to the season. Like he was probably the least hyped rookie, to be fair, and he's performing the best out of the rookies, at least in my opinion.
yes, yeah, that is interesting.
So,
yeah, I'm gonna. I think did he not finish in the points in Monaco as well, from memory?
Lawson,
Not that.
maybe
Yeah, I
he
think he
did.
finished like 8th. So I think I'm gonna. I still think it's a 4 for me, but that is relatively high, right? I'm quite strict with my points. It should be said. So the fact he's getting a 4 is high. I do think he's quite clearly not as quick as Hajar, but I do think he has done better now, and he's getting more used to being in the RB again. I always forget that they call it. There's RBR. That's what. Oh wait, no, it is the racing ball. Is that RB? So I think he is getting more used to that. And yeah, I'm not sure on him still. I definitely think compared to where he was when he stepped into that Qatar race and did so well, now he looks like he's struggling a lot. So bit disappointed for him, but perhaps he'll continue to grow. He's actually I will say he's done well compared to Jar recently. But yeah, still maybe lacking a little from what you want from him because this is meant to be Red Bull's training to get into the first seat. He was in the first seat and he failed, so I just don't see a way for him to come back from that, and I don't see any other team picking him up based on current performances. So yeah, it's a tricky one. He might just stay in that Racing Ball seat because they don't have anyone else. We'll see.
Yep. Okay, Isaac Hajar. I mean, he's just building on a momentum, but I still feel like these 6 races were a little bit like I don't know, less shining. I would say like it's still very very good.
Yeah,
Just not quite 8.5. I'm gonna give him an 8. He's still one of the only drivers apart from like top team drivers to never get knocked out in Q1, which is like a pretty nice stat to have. Yeah, I'm very excited for his career. Honestly, it's looking very good.
yeah, good performances in Spain, Monaco, and Armenia, Imola. But a bit more disappointing in the last 3 races. Not really. I don't think he's got any points in the last 3 races. As you said, I do think he's the most impressive rookie thus far, and I've enjoyed watching him. I enjoy his racecraft. Um, I really don't want him to move into the Red Bull seat. I should also say I'm also going to give him a 7. 2 7s for me for him. Feel a little low, but at the same point, he's not like blowing me away. I still think if he had like Sonoda as a teammate, he would still be struggling. He got very lucky with the points he got against Sonoda last time round. So yeah, I think he's definitely in a point where he needs to start. You know, if he is to go in the Red Bull that next season, which it looks likely that he will be, whether Max leaves or not, then he needs to maybe show a bit more because that Red Bull seat is killer. But I say all this, I'm very happy for him and he's done very well. Hates it when it's wet though. Absolute carnage whenever the racing track is wet from Hajar.
Yeah, very unfortunate incident in Silverstone. I mean, he couldn't see anything. We saw the onboard. It's
Yes,
just
yes, indeed. I was just thinking of that, and then Australia as well when he goes out
yeah.
before the race starts. So yeah, he might need to get his wet racing down.
You know what was like the unluckiest thing in that situation? That Antonelli was using his ERS. He wasn't saving battery, which would turn his like the red light
Yeah,
on
yeah.
on the back of his car, and essentially it's because of the test situation. Hajar just slammed into Antonelli and took them both out. Essentially, like Antonelli carried on, but DNF anyway. Uh, yeah, we'll talk about it later. I think we can. I can move over to the hats. Um, I'll start with Ollie. It's a mixed bag of performances. Sometimes he's looking very good. Sometimes he's looking like the biggest rookie out there. Like that that performance at Silverstone perfectly represents it, as he got an amazing performance in qualifying just to ruin it in FP3 under red flag. The entire situation was
And then he was so quick in the race as
yeah,
well.
yeah, just a big mixed bag. But he's showing so much potential, so much speed against such a good teammate in Ocon as well. Yeah, the points are heavily towards Ocon, but I feel like it's it's fine, as Ocon is a very good driver and Oli's a rookie. I feel like it will get closer and closer as time goes on, and yeah, they're generally one of the one of the closest driver pairings on the grid in terms of qualifying pace, and yeah, I feel like that will continue being the case. Eli is doing fine as of right now. I feel like he has improved from the first 6 races of his career, and I give him a 6.5.
Nice, yeah, yeah. I've been a bit disappointed with him, especially in the last few races. Um, I think he is in the Haas, right, and again, I think the Haas is the other slowest car on the grid substantially. So I have to take that into account, right? It's only fair to, but at the same time, he's just on the cusp of glory every time. A couple of 11s, never really challenging his teammate, at least in this half of the season. I think he has got like 3 11s in a row, by the way. So I'm going to be a bit more cruel on him just because I want to see better from him. I'm going to give him a 4. As we said, a couple of rookie mistakes mainly.
Yeah, he'll get there.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah, his teammate is already there. He's an established, very good, very quick driver. Uh,
And he has beat him a couple of times, He
yeah,
beat him despite all the chaos in Britain. Granted, he did smash into him, which I still think is Carlos Sainz's fault, but we'll be on that. And he was right behind him in Austria, all this sort of stuff.
yeah,
He's not too far behind Ocon. He's just too far behind in the place where it matters, which is points.
yeah,
Ocon keeps getting a few points, one or two every couple of races, whereas Ollie's getting none. So
yeah. And Esteban, for me, one of the better drivers, an improvement in my opinion over the first 6 races. Doing really well. Just, I mean, not like exceptionally well, not a 9 or above, but very similar to Hajar the first 6 races. So I choose the same rating.
yeah, fair enough. I'm gonna get. I think he's done worse than Gasly this half of the season. I think they're very similar cars. I'll say I think the race pace in the Haas is worse. The qualifying pace is a little better. Maybe I'm wrong there. Maybe I'm talking the opposite. I saw that. So I'm going to give him a 6, just because I don't think he's done as well as Gasly. But again, in what is potentially the slowest car on the grid, one of the two. he's getting points. They're low amounts of points, but he's getting points where it matters. Working his socks off to do so, and taking points when needed. In a race like Austria where you have so many cars DNF and you know there's a lot of cars at the back. He gets that 1 point, and that's something that I think Ocon really brings to a team. He always has that clutch factor for getting a few points on the board, even when the car is not performing as perhaps we as the fans want to see. Because it'd be really cool to see Ocon and Behrman maybe later on in the season be a bit quicker.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they're still in a Haas. That's like one of the teams that I don't think have any realistic like ambitions for next regulations. Mainly because it's an engine formula and they're just being supplied big engines. And unless Ferrari built a 2014 Mercedes-like engine, and they're the second quickest thanks to Ferrari being so far ahead, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Yeah, for those two, they're in a good stage of their careers. I mean, Oli just began his own, but they have no future of achieving anything more in the Haas, like ever.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't think they're gonna get quicker for the season. I believe most teams already switched over their focus to 2026. And I don't have much faith in them for 2026, like for Haas
Yeah, I think that's
specifically.
understandable.
Yeah. Get back to topic. I'm gonna go like from the worst teams to the best. I guess I will go with Aston next. I'll go with Stroll first because I believe Stroll is such a weird like case because every like fifth weekend he has a absolute god Senna drive, but then the other 5 weekends he's absolute no like he's such a Stroll. It keeps happening. He's awful like 5 races in a row and suddenly scores more points than Alonso. It's like Alonso has been catching up in the points, but now Stroll has got more on the board, and yeah, it would be very funny to see Stroll finish above Fernando in points at the end of the season. Maybe not happening with Aston being a little quicker recently, but yeah, Stroll not as good as the first 6 races, and I'm gonna give him like a 4.5. Better than Lawson, but he had only like one good race in Silverstone, and that was thanks to the conditions. I mean, yeah, fair play. He was one of the few drivers who profited, but also need some luck involved as well. And yeah, we saw the other side of the garage not having that much luck in terms of strategy. So yeah, 4.5 for me.
Yeah. Obviously, he doesn't race in Spain either. Should be taken into account. At least he did. Yeah, he didn't race in Spain, did he? And yeah, otherwise it has been a bit disappointing for him this half of the season. There's really only one good result in Britain, and even then, as soon as it got dry, he dropped down the field. And yeah, you could understand Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. Nico, maybe you could understand. Nico's got a lot of good racecraft, but Gasly, to lose out of Gasly on the final lap as well. Granted, that was maybe a team thing more so than anything. It has been a little disappointing beyond that. He definitely feels like the Stroll of old, especially when Alonso's doing pretty solidly now. I'm going to give him a 3. I'm going that low down. Not 34, a 3. I was thinking of a 4, but then I look at do I think Behrman's doing better? Yeah, probably, given the car setup. I think that Aston is quicker now. I'm a little bit disappointed in Stroll after that start of the season. So I'm going to go as far down as a 3. Yeah.
Okay, we go over. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, I think the car's quicker now.
Yeah,
Granted,
yeah.
it looks like it's quicker for Alonso, so maybe it's just the car setup. Maybe they're focusing on Alonso again. But yeah, I'm disappointed overall.
Yeah, hard to tell in that midfield. Like, one weekend we have Haas quicker than Williams, than Aston. Now we have Saubers getting points consistently.
Mm.
It's a very tight midfield, and yeah, Aston has definitely improved. And for me, the biggest improvement wasn't the driver. I mean, Fernando Alonso, for me, is a 9. He's been doing exceptionally well these last 6 races, scoring points left and right. Amazing qualifying performances. Still hasn't been like qualified by Stroll for like almost 30 races, or maybe I'm having a weird number, different number in mind than is reality. But I believe it's a big number, and to be doing that at like 42 years old, or I think it's 42, right? it's just
Yeah,
it's just yeah. His legacy is very big, and he's still performing at such a high level. Yeah, it is teammate is Stroll, but we've seen Stroll having good seasons in the past, like 2020 when he was like top 4 in the standings for most of the season, and obviously I think in the first 2 Aston Martin years, Stroll was looking motivated and was driving well. But ever since Fernando got into that team, Stroll just stopped really driving that well. And I don't know if it's the difference in drivers between Fernando and the motivated Vettel, but yeah, well, I guess we'll never know exactly what's the truth and what's going on behind the scenes with Stroll and all the all the rumors like around Stroll in terms of how he's feeling and what he's doing with his fists and so on. you know. Okay. Yeah. Ending my app, you can continue.
I think that's quite high. Yeah, I think that's quite high. He has done well to catch up with Stroll. Obviously, Stroll had basically. I gave Alonso a 1 last time, right? And that the reason why I gave him a 1 is because he's capable of doing what he's doing right now. He's always capable of doing what he's doing right now. He's a great driver, um, one of the best of all time. As you say, the fact he's doing this at 42 still, incredible. But yeah, I don't. I think that. My main thing would be this. Yeah, Stroll. He's still behind Stroll. He's picking up points. He's just not doing it incredibly high. He's doing very similar to how Lawson. Sorry, to how Gasly's doing. Granted, the car might be a little bit quicker, but maybe it also isn't. We don't actually know at all. I'm gonna go for a 7, so a little bit lower than you, just because I don't think he's like had any standout performance right in this. I think he got points in Silverstone again, overtaken on the last lap like his teammate. I found that very funny. In Austria, he did very well. Granted, he should have probably finished 8th if it wasn't for the lapping cars. So maybe got a little lucky there. Um, Canada a 7. Actually, Canada was a very good
Canada was
performance.
the highlight in my opinion.
Yeah,
He
Canada was a highlight.
he
Yeah,
was
you're
very
right
close
there.
to the second row in qualifying, which considering how
Yeah, and
many
he
quick
was.
cars are out there, very impressive.
Yeah, and he wasn't too far
And
behind. So yeah, okay,
Stroll was
I'll
like
give him
last,
Canada, but
I believe. Like Stroll was nowhere in that qualifying in Canada as well.
well, yeah, but that's probably because of the hand thing, um, or at least rumor.
Yeah.
And then 2 points in Spain, but he's not blown socks off in these last few races. With Alonso, just want that tiny bit more, but yeah, maybe I'm mistreating him a little bit because I consider him one of the best ever.
Yeah, I'm changing my Stroll rating to 3.5. I can have him lower than Lawson, but I'm having him higher than Colapinto. Um, yep, just wanted to mention that.
Fair enough.
Moving on,
Bortoletto.
moving on over. Wait, what's Leto?
Is it not Bortoletto
No, I
next?
wanted to go with Williams because I believe Sauber is having a very good momentum. Williams,
Okay.
on the other
I thought
hand,
we were doing, yeah, fair
yeah,
enough, fair enough.
I feel like Williams ever since the technical directive in Spain has been just going downwards. They're still having some flashes of performance, but nothing consistent, nothing like we saw at the start of the season where they were fighting Ferraris at times on pure pace. When it comes to the drivers, I feel like they haven't changed much, but the circumstances were different, and some drivers couldn't shine like they used to early in the season. Just begin with Alex. He's not been driving badly at all, but his first 6 races were so good. Like these last 6 races are looking much less impressive, and
a lot of
so
DNFs as well for him.
Yeah, so with my rating, honestly, Carlos Sainz has also closed the gap. I feel like, and yeah, we're seeing something that is called simply development. That other teams are simply jumping above Williams. We've seen Sauber getting so quick recently, Aston improving, Haas and Alpine are still there sometimes. It's going to be difficult for them to gain points, and that's a very bad situation for Carlos, especially as all the points were to gain at the start of the season when he was not performing. So yeah. Okay, back to Alex. I'm gonna give him a 6.5. Maybe a little low, but I feel like it's similar to Behrman.
I like that. I think the one thing from Alex that he's going to end up lucky for me is that the Imola was in these last 6 races, because that was a fantastic performance, right? That's the type of thing that I was talking about with Alonso. That's the type of performance I want from a driver to get an impressive rating. The fact he came 5th in that race, he finished ahead of Charles Leclerc and Russell. On pure race pace, granted, there was a lot of safety cars. But that was an incredibly professional and well done performance from Albon. And the stuff that I sort of view Albon as, right? I definitely view him as being capable of doing those. And then, isn't what 2 points in Britain? I think ended up beating Alonso. Maybe it was 3. But other than that, I think he has 3 DNFs and then one. Actually, he might have finished in Monaco in the points. So maybe it's the car letting him down, to be honest, which we already knew. But like even more so, the fact that he just can't finish races, because otherwise, I think he's got points in all the other races that he's taking part in these last 6 races. So I think that's going to sway me a tiny bit. Granted, I still don't think he's as quick as he was. Again, that's a lot due to the car. But I'm going to give him 7 a 7 as well. I think that Imola performance really bumps him up an extra point. And now me just considering the fact that he probably has got points every time he's finished as well. But yeah, I think maybe also a bit of bias because I like him a lot.
Yeah, when I think about it, he also was on pace in Austria to get a very high position, but his car broke down. Yeah. There's also the Spanish Grand Prix, which was like he was one of the least impressive drivers that can't. Maybe we even picked him. I don't remember clearly. I will improve it to. Gasly's level 7.5. Maybe I was a bit harsh, but still wasn't nowhere near the level he was trying at the start of the season.
Yeah, exactly. I agree completely.
Okay. Speaking of Carlos Sainz,
also I'd like to say if it wasn't for Imola, he'd probably be a 6 or a 5 for me. It's literally just that one race that is bumping him up. Anyway, yes. Sorry.
Yeah. no worries. Carlos Sainz, I feel like he's closed the gap somewhat. There are no such big gaps as there were start of the season. The qualifying record is still very close. There are no points, unfortunately, because the Williams is not the clear 5th fastest car anymore. But he's got some good performances in. But what is worrying me that inconsistency still is there. just random Q1 eliminations. Just that's not the Carlos Sainz we know. Uh, and I cannot give him any higher rating than 5. Honestly, it is an improvement, but a very slight one, to say the least.
Yeah, I'm not going to improve him. I think I was kind to him in the first 4 races. I think maybe I'm even being kind to him now. I'm going to give him a 4 again. It's definitely not at this point. I'm starting to lose patience with the fact that he is clearly slower than Albon. You know, I understand he's gone into the team and it takes time, but we're into the second half of the season now. You know, he needs to start proving himself a little bit more, and especially because I think Carlos Sainz is such a great driver. Last season, I think I tried to heap praise on him as much as I could. So yeah, I'm a little disappointed with him. Granted, the car's slower now, but I still think he is clearly slower than Albon in a lot of ways.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I mean, looking at the combined ratings, it's like fourth or fifth lowest so far. But was it that the Saubers who
Yeah.
haven't given high ratings now? I believe you will have big improvements in your ratings for Saubers, but that's just a hint. Okay, Bortoleto for me. I mean, that Austria race alone was amazing. Like at one time, like I was there, I was thinking like he could
Yeah,
jump George Russell for P6. Like he
yeah, me
generally
too.
had so much pace. It was looking very good. Obviously, is still lacking a lot of experience. His teammate is a very very good driver, and he's making still some rookie errors here and there, but those are part of it. And I still feel like he has improved a lot, especially in qualifying. He's like right there with Hulkenberg most weekends, and sometimes behind, sometimes ahead. They never seem to finish next to each other, like in qualifying for some reason. Like either it's one
Yeah.
driver being more ahead, or the other one. It's maybe I'm just thinking of. I'm just imagining it, but that's my opinion. Anyways, Bartoletto, I'm gonna give him a 6.5, just like Ollie.
Yeah, fair
Improvement.
enough. Fair enough. I'm also I'm not going to rate him the same as Ollie. I'm going to rate him a 6. I think he's doing well. I think that Austria performance really is the standout. As you said, he was incredibly fast, but didn't end up getting perhaps the placements that he should have. A lot due to lap cars and so on. So a bit of disappointment there, but I just can't bump him up to
Oh,
the 7 because. Hmm?
can you be disappointed from him losing a wheel-to-wheel battle against the most experienced driver in Formula One?
No, no, no.
Like,
I know, but I don't think it was a fair battle, right? Because the lap cars. If he had the 3 lap, he basically caught Alonso with 3 laps to go. He just first had to let through Norris, and then had to let through Piastri. So it sort of became a bit more difficult for him to actually get past. And granted, Alonso is an incredible defender, so maybe he wouldn't have been able to, but he was rapid. He was rapid in that race, and I was very pleased for him. But then I look at other performances, and I'm like, I definitely have a lot of time for Bortoletto. I think people forget he was the one that won the championship last season. He's incredibly quick, and yeah, I like him a lot. But I just think that that he's not yet found his ultimate pace, right? And I look, we'll get to it, but you look at Hulkenberg, right, and you just go, wow. Whereas Bortoletto, obviously quick in the last race, but no wow moment from him just yet.
yeah, well, I think we'll see that. Bortoletto,
Yeah, hopefully.
as honestly, he's becoming one of my favorite drivers on the grid. Uh, yeah, but I really like how Bortolo's driving. I feel like he has a bright future ahead of him. But my favorite driver is his teammate, and I feel like I'm not biased here. I feel like Hulkenberg has been so good in the last 6 races. He's scoring points left and right.
Yeah,
making incredible overtakes, incredible pace. To be fair, his qualifyings are very bad. I got to say that, but the recovery
Yes.
drives are insane. He's driving really well, especially in the races. I
The
can,
fact he's he's strategizing on the fly, and that's
yeah,
helping him.
yeah. I mean,
You know,
if solely based on qualifying performances, he shouldn't get a 9. But that Silverstone performance alone is the drive of the season. I cannot give him anything lower than 9 because simply because of Silverstone, because that was incredible.
I yeah
Yeah.
yeah fair enough. I'm going out there. I'm going to give him a 10
Ooh, okay.
because I don't just think of Silverstone. I think of the fact that in the Spanish Grand Prix he finishes fifth as well. You know, ahead of Lewis Hamilton. He finishes again ahead of Lewis Hamilton in the British Grand Prix. Manages to get a podium in the Sauber, which is for the first time in over 10 years. I'm pretty sure. Constantly getting points. Austria gets points. Granted, not too many, especially with how many crash outs there were. But as you say, started at the back for that. Just behind Alonso as well in the Canadian Grand Prix, manages to finish on the same lap as the leaders. He's been sensational. I know there's a few races you look at like Monaco and probably Imola as well, where he's not got those points, but these last four races have been sensational. Third and a fifth place. As I said, you know, I was looking for that. I rated Albon a 7 on getting a fifth, right, randomly, but he's done it twice. If he just got that fifth, it would have been impressive enough. But then he got that incredible third place as well. Maybe it's a little bit of bias, but yeah, I'm rating him a 10. I think he deserves it. I don't think anyone else on this grid I'll rate a 10. So
Yeah, I can't complain. uh, yeah, purely from a fan point of view, very very good times. Yeah, a huge improvement, mainly in the car, but I feel like his performances are there still. Like he's the third oldest driver on the grid, and maybe that Audi project isn't looking that bad anymore, as we've seen Sauber improve throughout the season, which is the thing we haven't seen. Like I don't know the last time we saw that team specifically improve throughout the season. Like they always started well. Like 2022, Bottas was getting so many points and they just fell off. And last year they were considerably slower than the second last team. They were they got only points once, and that was thanks to and Joe's performance in Qatar. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Audi next year. I have no idea what their engine is going to look like, but I feel like they've got a really good team behind.
at this point, he's achieved what I wanted him to achieve, though.
Yeah, well, obviously for Hulkenberg, I mean, a podium.
I was hoping Audi could come in and give him a podium, and he's already done that.
He's done it in the Sauber.
I'm a bit less worried about the whole Audi thing now. If they're slow, they're slow. You know, yeah.
Okay, moving on over to honestly Red Bull, because I feel like they've really fallen off, especially since Spain. There's only Max doing wonders in that car, which is for the last few years we've seen a lot of drivers in that second Red Bull seat. That car is, in terms of development, is just on the end of regulations. It's not gonna be easy for any driver to adapt. And Yuki, I'm pretty sure is trying his best. Is saying like, yeah, he doesn't understand why he's so slow. But yeah, I honestly don't know what exactly is the issue. I don't believe anyone knows exactly why I have so many drivers, so many good proven drivers, failed in the second Red Bull seat. I'm worried because Yuki, I don't know if he manages to stay past next year. Obviously, we've given him a 5 and a 6 for the first 6 races, 2 in the Racing Bulls and 4 in the Red Bull. He was showing some promise, but now is mostly just there. He isn't showing
Yeah.
any potential whatsoever. It's almost looking like he's getting worse every weekend. He has a bad weekend after bad weekend, really looking like Perez last season towards the end. Uh, yeah, I have no idea what's going to happen to the Red Bull next year. If they're going to bring us the experienced driver, or they're going to promote Hajar or even Lindblad. Who knows? Max is looking like staying there for next year at least. At least according to the rumors that he's not going to Mercedes. I mean, who knows what's true exactly? We have to see. But Yuki, for me, the least impressive driver of the last 6 races. I'm gonna honestly give him a 1.5. He's been very bad, just very
Yeah.
bad. Not just slow, but the crashes, the incidents. So many
Yeah,
errors
that's true.
with racecraft, which should be like the one thing that he should have if he doesn't have the pace. Like, it's
Well,
not that.
I can understand, and maybe it's frustration. Maybe it's frustration hitting in. What I'll say is, I feel like if he was in that Racing Bull, he'd be doing as well as he did at the start of the season, which I thought was pretty. He was pretty impressive. Granted, I only rated him a 6, but whereas now you know, he could have moved to a different team. Cadillac might have been in for him, and another team, maybe Alpine would have took a chance on him instead. Whereas now, I just don't think he can go anywhere. And really, this move to Red Bull, which sort of completely out of his hands, is ruining his career. Because one point in Imola, that's his the most points he's got in these last 6 races. And last 2 races, back of the grid, last finishing position. It's been disappointing. It's been really disappointing to see that from Yuki, a driver that I consider very quick. And I think we both talked last season. The amount of times we'd rank him as our driver with the most potential to do something in a race, most anticipated driver, or whatever.
Yeah.
And biggest overperformer. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
And he'd achieved that, and now you go into a race and we can't even put him in biggest underachiever because he's coming last every race. So yeah, it's disappointing to see. I really hope he can find a way out in some capacity. Um, yeah, and I know something came out today about Sites was thinking about moving to Red Bull, and he was like very confused why he didn't. But who knows if Science would have been better there? But I know for a fact Yuki would have been better in the Williams than he is in this Red Bull right now. It's very disappointing. As you say, the racecraft also isn't there. Probably due to frustration. It's a 1 from me. It can't go. It can't be any higher. It has to be a 1.
Yeah. Honestly, one like 1 out of 10 is probably Mazepin. Like you cannot go lower than that. But it's really not looking good. The other side of the garage has also not been doing the greatest. I mean, it's still Max. It's still the best driver in F1 right
Yeah.
now, but he's not like he's not in the championship winning car. He has to
Yeah.
battle for everything. He's qualifying in lower positions, and that's leading to him being vulnerable to incidents like in Austria, where he was DNF'd by Antonelli. That Austrian qualifying also was his mistake. I believe he had the pace to be higher. Like he showed throughout the weekend, the Red Bull was quick. I simply cannot understand like where the pace went on that weekend. Like Yuki was like 2 tenths behind Max. Like qualifying doesn't happen often. Obviously, you have to mention Spain when talking about Max. That entire thing, what he did with George and so on. Like, yeah, it's difficult to judge driver performance on that, but he's the reason why he didn't score more points at the race. And then obviously we had the
Yeah,
Silverstone mistake under the wet conditions. Obviously the setup wasn't great for wet conditions, but that's the risk they took for qualifying. Obviously great lap in quali, but sacrificing the setup uh, for qualifying, and the race was doomed to fail and mistake. Very uncharacteristic to see Max spin off in the rain, but yeah, I feel like we're seeing Max become more human now.
yeah.
Not just the machine that was winning 10 races in a row after another. Yeah, it's not a 9, it's a 9.5. It like it's better than still most drivers. Honestly, it's my second best rating so far. I believe Fernando has more impressive last 6 races than Max. That's I feel like, yeah. Last time I rated Albon above. This time it's only just now Fernando, but yeah, looking like
Uh,
is immortal now, and the
yeah.
level is getting slower and slower, and who knows what's there for next year if he stays there. Probably looking like he will. Yeah, we'll see that 33 next year, and that'll be bringing memories, right?
Yeah. I think I'm gonna be harsh. I'm gonna be really harsh. The thing in Spain, really difficult. Probably should have got a bigger penalty if we're honest. Um, the fact that it is Max Verstappen, right? That's what I need to put into this. It's Max Verstappen. He's one of the best out there. He wins the Imola Grand Prix. Looked really impressive that weekend. Really, really impressive. Goes into Monaco, doesn't get on the podium, which is a bit of a shock, but maybe shouldn't be. But he was slow in Monaco as well. It wasn't that he was just, you know, that it was that he wasn't. He qualified fifth, right? And that's a shock in itself. And then only he finishes way off the pace as well. Spain obviously has that incident. As I said, probably should have got a bigger penalty. Really head loss moment. Again, you could probably blame the team as well. Canada gets second, really solid there, but it does look like he could get overtaken by Antonelli a few times. So that's worth noting, I would say. Um, and then there's the crash. The crash in Austria, I'm just not taking into account because it's not his fault. But then the spin in Britain is it's not as good as we would want from Max Verstappen. I'm going to give him a 7. It's purely because it's Max Verstappen, right? So there's some things go into my ratings other than just their performance. You've got to take into account who the driver is, what they're doing, and I think I do that with like the rookies. The rookies get a slightly bigger advantage over the like drivers that are fully in. But yeah, I don't. I think he's had a worse few races than last time, and I rated him an 8 last time. So has to be a 7 here.
Okay. Um, Maybe I feel like an 8 would be more suitable, but it's your rating after all, and you giving him an 8 last time out. Well,
I think
mm.
I think he's done worse than the
Yeah,
first few races,
so do
and
I. Yeah.
I think he's given up. I think he doesn't care about this championship anymore. He knows he can't win it. Imagine if the Silverstone thing happens, like peak like rivalry. He loses his head, and he doesn't really lose his head. He doesn't lose his head at Antonelli also for the crash. Peak Verstappen's throwing hands at that. He's very much mellowed out this season because he knows he can't win it, and I do think that's affecting his racing as well. I don't think he's on peak performance there.
Okay. So far, the highest
It's
rated
hard,
driver
but
still, like from the first race,
from the
plus rankings.
overall
Yep.
points together, highest rated makes sense. Makes
Yep.
sense.
Yep. When it comes to the next team, I believe we can go over to the Ferraris. I will begin with Lewis. Want to say that he's been doing much better in the first six races. Obviously, he had the China sprint. Well, in the China weekend, that was very good. But after that, apart from that, he wasn't looking that great. But now he's looking more comfortable in the car, more comfortable with the team itself. Like, yeah, we're still seeing some miscommunications with the engineer, but that's gonna happen if you're stuck like for over a decade with Peter Bunnington. So yeah, I feel like he's improving slowly but surely, getting close to Charles. Charles obviously had the Silverstone race where he was the lead Ferrari driver, but also that Silverstone that's like one of his best tracks, so if not the best track for Lewis Hamilton. Uh, and yeah,
Yeah.
improving, but still disappointing compared to it's it is Lewis Hamilton after all, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
we
Exactly.
know what he can do, and if everything's correct, all right, and so on, like he is still the 7-time world champion, and I have no doubts that you're gonna see him shine again. Uh, he's gonna get a 6.5 from me for the races 7 to 12.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. I'm disappointed as well. I'll be honest. About three or four fourth places is pretty much what he's going off here. And for Lewis Hamilton, that's a bit disappointing. In normal conditions, seems to struggle against Leclerc. His points come from Imola. He beat Leclerc there, and Silverstone, which Leclerc just can't seem to drive. And plus the rain. So in normal conditions, he's just beaten by Leclerc every time. Um, yeah, I'm disappointed because Lewis Hamilton's my favorite driver, and I don't think he's performing as well as he should. Granted, couple fourth places seems to be, you know, we when Russell was getting a bunch of fourth places, I was very passionate about it, right? Um, but then the other performances haven't been great, and he just does seem to be struggling. So I think I'm gonna go a 6. I was thinking about a 5. I'm gonna just knock it up a bit because I was thinking of like Russell and so on. But I am disappointed. I'm very disappointed that he just can't seem to finishing behind Nico Hulkenberg twice in these last 6 races. And Nico obviously very good driver, but
It's it's weird that every time Nico has an amazing race, he finished just above Lewis
yeah,
in that
exactly.
scenario with a battle between them in both cases. Even though like they weren't much, there wasn't much battling on track in Silverstone. They were still within DRS and yeah, like if it would have gotten the podium in Silverstone, maybe I would give him a 7, but yeah, it's his best track. It's wet conditions. We've seen Lewis absolutely destroy the field in wet conditions at Silverstone before. So yeah. Okay. Moving on over to Charles Leclerc, and I mean,
You did an accent there.
he's got some podiums. He's got some good performances in, but the Ferrari is just he's he's not he's not great. Like yeah,
He's had
it's
some disappoint. He's had some shockers as
yeah.
well.
He's had
Right,
some.
that's the
He's
thing.
had some bad performances as well. Like that entire Silverstone weekend for him was off. But on the other hand, he's had the podiums themselves. And during the weekends where he had the podium, he was looking on the best drivers out there. Still, like Charles is rated very highly by most people. So you can really excuse like performances like in Silverstone. Yeah, he's had a strategy thing, but you're not you're gonna trust Ferrari with your strategy when it comes to bad conditions, especially after what happened last year. Like, he's got to make his own calls in the situation. If he would have done what Hulkenberg has done, and I'm not saying Hulkenberg has only done this for his experience. I believe Charles also has some experience right now. He's in his like 7th season in Formula One. He has to have some experience in these conditions, and I feel like that's Charles's biggest weakness is judging the conditions when they're changing and so on. Like especially communicating with Ferrari about them. That was the entire thing. Like he was going off track and so on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it an 8. Maybe it's a high rating, but still he's got some great performances in both in qualifying and in races. Had some highlights, just not something like a race win that would really bump him up. We'll see what happens with the upgrade in Spa that Ferrari are bringing finally. After I've been thinking that upgrade is meant to be for the last 3 races.
No, they did bring an upgrade to Austria. This is suspension, so they brought floor upgrade to Austria. Now this is suspension.
Now is the big upgrade that they have basically
it should be done then.
Yeah, they have separated it into different upgrade phases, and this one is like the biggest one, the biggest upgrade package that Ferrari will receive, probably this season as well. If that upgrade doesn't save their season, at least from from a pride perspective, like they were ending last season as joint favorites with McLaren's for the title for this year, and they ended up with the 4th quickest car at the start of the season. Well, at times 5th quickest because Williams was there as well. If the upgrades doesn't work and they're not at least 2nd fastest, then it's one of the most disappointing seasons for Ferrari, especially considering the end of last year, because they have changed the entire car probably for nothing.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. It's a difficult one, isn't it? Because as I said, he has had highest of highs and then the lowest of, well, not highest of highs. It's Leclerc, right? A P2 in Monaco, very, very firmly in my brain. Canada probably a bit of an embarrassment, but the Ferrari's never quick round there, is it? Yeah. Otherwise, he's picking up podiums, right? The one thing that I will say is, along with the British Grand Prix, his sus movements on Albon in Imola definitely play on my mind as well. But those are the two only really big negatives. And he's still got on the points every time and almost in the top 5 every other time. So I'm going to take that into account. I do think he's done well. I'm going to give him... I'm going to give him a 8. Or... Yeah. I'm going to agree with you and go with an 8. Yeah. It's close to a 7, but yeah, I'll give him an 8, and it'll be done. We'll be done with that.
Yeah, your 2nd highest rating so far.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. You're giving a lot of Travis a 7.
Joint 2nd. Wait, no, that's yours. Yeah, fair enough. Look, he has been, like, the British Grand Prix is obviously going to stick in a lot of people's brains, but he's definitely been, I would say, the third place driver. I definitely think going into the rest of the season, I think we're going to see the Ferraris up there a lot more, battling out to be the 2nd best team. I think they'll probably catch Mercedes up with that a lot more now. Um, I think he's been impressive. There is races where I question him, but third in Spain, third in Monaco, not third in sorry, third in Spain, second in Monaco, a third in. No, you're right. I am going to move it to a seven. Never mind. I argued myself into that. That's my first change of the video. Yeah, seven.
Fair enough.
Back to the seventh place crew.
There's a lot of
He
sevens.
has been in. Oh, I don't know. And I don't like 0.5s, as you know, so I'm not going to use a 0.5. Um, it's just one or two performances that knock him off a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go for seven. Probably recency bias because of Britain, but
Yeah. I guess we can end with Ferrari now. Moving over to Mercedes. So I wanted to say the only other team to win other than McLaren, but I don't remember Max winning in Imola. Nonetheless, second fastest team probably over the last 6 races. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know exactly. Like, we don't know how quick that Red Bull is exactly.
I think Ferrari caught up on points in the last 6 races.
Yeah, I think Ferrari cashing out in points is mainly due to Antonelli DNFing like every second race or something.
It's a lot in Monaco and Imola. You know, the Mercedes struggled, so I think it's a lot to do with that.
Yeah, we've seen Mercedes having a lot of issues, whether it's the tires, like in hot conditions, like in Austria, they were looking under threat from Williams and Sauber in race pace. Obviously, we had Antonelli had like 4 or 5 DNFs in the last 6 races. Ridiculous. Like, that car is breaking down so often, and it's the works team. They should be having the best reliability. Actually, it's McLaren that's leading the championship that's having the best reliability, ironically. So, yeah, I have no idea what Mercedes is doing with that power unit, but Antonelli is having a lot of bad luck. But it's also he also hasn't been driving the best. He's had some good performances, like Canada. I mean, the first podium still was outpaced by George Russell for the entire weekend. He hasn't had that moment like in Miami where it was. We could argue that he was the quicker driver. Like, we haven't had a moment here, but he was still there. He was qualifying in Q3, sometimes not, running in the lower 5 of the points paying positions, just being generally very unlucky, and very very mid last 6 races. As harsh as it sounds for a rookie, I'm gonna give him a 6, a lower rating than his first 6 races, and mainly because Anthony has had some great performances, like in Australia and Miami. I cannot think of any highlights from Anthony's last 6 races.
Yeah, no, I agree. I moved up Leclerc, by the way, to A8, and he's going to stay there now.
I'm thinking about it 5.5, changing it to 5.5.
I've been disappointed with him. It is only 1 points finish, and that is Canada. You know, it's a bit shocking, and I don't feel every DNF isn't his fault, but some are. So you look at you can't. I don't know. I really want him to be better. And this is these type of performances why I question why everyone. And I understand that he's Toto Wolff's like prodigy and so on, and they all think he's going to be the next Max Verstappen. But I don't see that killer instinct in him. I think he's incredibly talented, of course. and he's so young and so on that he's of course going to get better with time. I just don't see the kind of instinct that Max has. I don't think Max would have retired from so many races at this point. The mistake in Austria is all his. Um, he tried to make excuses, but he just broke too late. Um, his British Grand Prix, granted, isn't wholly his fault, but it was still pretty bad. And yeah, he gets held up by the fact that he had that score in the Italian Grand Prix, sorry, in the Canadian Grand Prix, and he was very quick then. He gave Max Verstappen a couple goes at it, and was very quick. So he's going to get some points for that. He's going to get a 4 because of that. But if he didn't have that result, he would be in the dumps right now. And I think a lot of people would be turning on him as well. I don't understand how people are not considering Russell Verstappen, because I get that he's Total Wolf's prodigy. I get that he's sort of got this big thing going on for him, but really, can you give him that when he's got one race finish in the last, or 1 points finish in the last 6 races? He's got to buck his ideas up.
Yeah, when I look back on his 6 races, it's really just Spain and obviously Canada that he's done well. Like Austria
I
was
can't remember. Did he
very.
do well in Spain?
He was like P7 or 6
Oh
up until
yeah,
the
yeah, you're
engine
right.
pro troubles. So and Imola, I mean, I don't know if he was running into points at all, but he also DNF due to an engine failure. But other than that, Austria, I mean, that qualifying was unlucky because he couldn't cross the finish line in time to set another lap. But that race ruined everything. It was a rookie mistake, like a very rookie mistake. And obviously we have Monaco. I mean, he was like lapped like 3 times that race. And Silverstone, not much of his fault, the DNF itself, but he wasn't looking quick the entire weekend, unlike George. So yeah, I lowered it down to 4.5. Maybe I should put even lower, but I don't feel like it's the Lawson Stroll level just yet.
No, that's fair. That is fair.
Yeah. Moving on to George Russell, certain George Russell, who's well, yeah, he has had a clear advantage over Antonelli. The last 6 races has. I don't think there was at any point a doubt that he's gonna be the quicker driver at any point in the weekend. The last 6 races, he has had also some incredible performances in both qualifying and the race. Basically, a highlight is the weekend in Canada. He got the fastest car and he delivered. He managed everything and got the win from pole position. That was the thing that he was supposed to do, and he done that. Uh, I mean, yeah, the race in Silverstone wasn't great. The strategy call, obviously,
And it was made by him.
it was made by him exactly. Like,
Yeah.
he's one. Unless he's in a podium position, he really wants to risk at any time. Like, he's really trying to do something with the race. He isn't satisfied with a P6 or a P7 or P5. He really wants to get on the podium at least, or ideally win. And I cannot blame him for that, but that strategy goal was just incorrect. And what followed was, I mean, he's lucky to not. He was lucky to not DNF in that race and still score some points in that race, considering everything. So yeah, apart from that, Silverstone race, he's been maximizing the car. I feel like every single weekend, can't really blame him for much. In that, like, it is driving superbly. Another 9. It is for me. George Russell, so far probably the driver of the season.
Yeah, I think a nine's high. I ain't gonna lie to you,
For
because
what?
in my opinion, he's had two good races. Right, and even then, I don't think they're two amazing races. Not for the season, by the way. I mean, these last few races. The race in Canada is superb, right? And I've got to give him his props there. He was incredible and led such a commanding race as well. It looked like no one was going to get to him until the whole safety car thing happened at the end. Yeah, he was sensational there. But seventh in Imola, disappointing. In
I mean,
Monaco,
seventh in Imola. I believe he was one of the drivers who were called up by the entire strategy thing. Each pushed
yeah,
drivers
that's
like
true. That's
Albon
true.
and Lewis higher up the grid or higher up the finishing positions. Yeah, I remember that
Imola is very
clearly. He
difficult.
was he
You're
was
right.
he was unlucky in Imola. When it comes to Spain, I mean, what more could he have done there,
He
right?
did come fourth, yeah, but
Uh,
I don't know. I'd expect. I want to see a little better than
that
him
car
from that.
wasn't quick enough for a podium that weekend.
No, no, that's fair. That's fair.
Monaco, I mean, what could he have done if his car broke down throughout qualifying? It's Monaco, you cannot overtake there, and
Yeah, that's true.
he tried something, didn't work out, and ended up finishing outside of the points. But that's the team's fault mainly because Monaco is all about qualifying, and yeah, obviously we have Canada and then Austria.
Kind of
I mean,
just sensational.
Austria is another example. He maximized his car, which was looking not great.
Yeah, I get your point with the whole maximizing of the car and so on. I get that the Mercedes seems to break down whenever it's hot, or stuff happens when it's cold. And I'm not saying that he hasn't been good, right? I definitely think he's been good. I just think that, especially for that first few races, I'm expecting a little bit more from him. He's going to get boosted up because of the Canada result. I'm not going to take that away from him. Spain, I consider that he should probably finish ahead of Leclerc, but it's arguable on that. Well, it's difficult, isn't it? I think because he's got that race win, he's still gonna get a decent score from me. But then Max Verstappen got a race win, and I've not rated him high. And I think he's done very similar to Verstappen in these last few races. So I'm going to give him a 7.
Honestly, that's the biggest shocker here, at least for
I love George Russell. Don't get me wrong, right? I love George Russell. I
we're
love Lewis Hamilton. I love Ollie Behrman. I want more from them, right? I
we're,
want more from them, and
we're
I get that he's won a race, but he's proven time and time again he's quick around that circuit. Anyway, I'm excited for Spa. I think he's going to be quick this weekend. Um, I'm very excited for George Russell for Spa, but maybe Leclerc hasn't. You know what? Leclerc hasn't got a win. I'll give him an 8.
that's
I'll
more
rate
like
him
it.
the same as Leclerc.
Honestly, I think I like 7 wasn't justifiable in my view. Honestly,
Okay.
like you've always given him the same rating as Max, despite him being better than Max in the last 6 races, and then you rating Max higher, as do I.
Yeah, there you go. It was sort of the rating max higher thing that turned me. I also think I want him in the Mercedes seat next season. If Mercedes is watching, uh, you know,
Like if then Mercedes,
don't lose him. Don't lose
yeah,
him.
if then Mercedes is really that quick next season, we could see him fighting for a title finally. It would be even better if it's against Max, because that title fight would be great. But uh, I have no idea who's going to be quick next season. Maybe Red Bull, maybe Ferrari, maybe Mercedes, maybe McLaren, maybe even Aston, maybe Audi. Who knows? Um,
Yeah,
yeah, but I feel like George is their best bet
yeah,
currently that they have for a title fight. Yeah, they could get Max there, but uh, all the things that they would need to go through to get Max from the Red Bull to their seat. They would have to get rid of one very, very good driver in George Russell and, like you said, Toto's own project Verstappen. So it's I understand the rumor that's going around that that decision is has fallen through. Just yeah, I firmly believe that this that pairing will remain for next season. And if they get the fastest car, oh, will I enjoy that? maybe
Yeah.
I'm more of a George Russell fan I used to be, but I really wish him a good car because he got the Mercedes right after they've won 8 constructors titles in a row. He got the worst Mercedes since like 2012 at that point in 2022. So.
Yeah, that has been heartbreaking. I can't
Yeah,
lie.
and
That has
his
been very
only chance
heartbreaking.
in the good Mercedes was 2020, where he subbed in for Lewis with the COVID, and he was meant to
That the
win that
team messed
race.
it up. Yeah, the
Yeah,
team messed that up, didn't they? What I will say on that as well is, hopefully there's rumours that the Mercedes next year is going to be quick. So, it'd be cool to see him in that car. Anyway,
yeah. I mean,
yes, you did
the,
change my mind
the
there.
thing is,
No high ratings though.
the thing is, the current reigning constructors champions and the by far the leaders of the championship are also having Mercedes engines. So Mercedes
Yes,
needs
that is
to
true.
beat McLaren in their own game. That's building a car that's so aerodynamically efficient that's quick everywhere and sometimes even by a big margin, like we've seen in Silverstone. Like McLarens were in their own league. At like yeah, qualifyings are more closer. We can see sometimes Max grab a pole position. We've seen George Russell grab a pole, but mostly just McLaren show. So I hope it's closer next year. But we've seen with new regulations that the team can jump away from others and dominate for a couple of seasons before other teams catch up. Especially when it's engine formula. So we'll see. I'm excited for Mercedes. Anyways, Lando Norris, McLaren's the final two. This is difficult. Like he's had the last 6 races probably his best 6 race stint since maybe in his career when I think about it. But there are still the moments when you remember it's still Lando. He's imperfect and maybe it's not his title to win this season. Like that thing in Canada was like you can do that in your first season or second, but when you're fighting for a title, going for a gap that doesn't exist. Yeah, I'm sure you know the center phrase, but this literally there was no gap, and he lost so many points to his rival, and the only thing that's keeping Norris in that title fight is Piastri not having. I'm not saying Piastri is running badly, but he's not being fortunate enough to have clean weekends. Like qualifying in Austria, he didn't get to set the second lap. Then with Silverstone, obviously, a brand new penalty that came out of nowhere, deserved in my opinion, but yeah, they're bringing something new like that. Like he didn't know what he got it for, and unfortunately, he was the victim of a brand new penalty in Formula One, like braking behind the safety car suddenly. Like yeah, obviously Monaco was probably the highlight of Lando's 6 races. Like he got the pole position, which was the most important thing in our weekend, and then later I'm gonna win. From the other races, which were like Spain, considerably beaten by Piastri. Then we have Imola. Imola was like he overtook Piastri, right? But still, like it wasn't the greatest weekend from Lando's POV. Yeah, I still feel like it's not enough. He needs to improve furthermore to fight with Piastri, and I don't believe Piastri's bad luck will continue or bad fortune or whatever. I feel like Piastri will bounce back very very well, and Norris needs to keep this momentum because that title may run away from him. He's definitely improved. Don't get me wrong, but there are still some moments when I'm not confident in him. He's gonna get a 7.5 from me.
Oh, okay, fair enough, fair enough. I can't. You were a lot more negative there than a 7.5. I can't lie. I was expecting lower. I agree with you in some parts, right? But I do. I think he's won three of the last, 6 races, and Piastri's only won one. And I don't think that's wholly on Piastri's bad luck. He also finished ahead of him in Imola. Now you could argue that was the team, right? But it happened. There was that process was decided, and he ended up finishing ahead of him. Piastri, the breaking point. Whatever you think, he should have got a penalty. Maybe would have. We both thought he should have got a penalty, maybe a little lower than he did get. It would have been perhaps a better ending to the race. They were about 5 seconds off at the end there, so it would have perhaps been a better ending of the race if he'd got only 5 seconds. We would have seen them fight. But then I look at Austria, and he was quicker in every session that he was in. Let's not forget that he wasn't in the first one. He was quick in every session he was in. He won the wheel-to-wheel battle. Granted, he made a mistake, but so did Piastri make a mistake in that wheel-to-wheel battle. And when Piastri did overtake him, he got him right back afterwards. So he's been a lot more calm than previous races in at the British Grand Prix. He did not let Piastri get away from him, which I think he would have been prone to doing at the start of the championship. Piastri, of course, made a mistake in the British Grand Prix in going off. So I think he's been good. There is stuff like the Canadian Grand Prix where he goes for a gap that doesn't exist, and he started way back anyway in that race. So there's stuff like that. There's moments with him where I'm like, yeah, he's still shaky here, especially in qualifyings. But at least the last few, I've been impressed with him. I've been impressed with how he's taken it. 3 races out of the 6 we're talking about, 1 DNF, which pretty much his fault. But he's racing there at the very least. I'm going to go with an 8. I'm not going too high, but I am.
Sorry.
Maybe I do go with a 9. No, I will go with an 8 because I expect better of him. It's very, very with the British drivers. I'm expecting better of them.
What I cannot get my head around is how is George having the same rating as Torres?
I think George has made a similar amount of mistakes. That's pretty. George's whole British Grand Prix is pretty tragic, and that's because of his one mistake. Norris has made one big error in these Grand Prix. Well, he's made a lot of small errors as well with qualifying, but he has won 3 of the last 6 Grand Prix. And you said about it being slightly lucky. I don't fully see that, right? I think he's made his own luck in times. I think in Austria he won purely on his
Austria was good.
Monaco as well. I think he wins on his own regard. I don't think Monaco, the fact he qualified first in Monaco, incredibly impressive. And then Silverstone, I know that Piastri gets that penalty, but we both agreed Piastri deserved a penalty of some sort. he doesn't make an error in that whole race. He drifts behind. It's qualifying that's the disappointing thing, and that's why I've knocked 2 ratings off him. But other than Canada, and even in Canada, I sort of I respect the fact that he goes for it. Right, that's something that Norris wouldn't do against Max for all of last season. There's sort of a desperation there that's setting in. Perhaps we're going to see him go quicker because of that.
Okay. After George rating, I was wondering where's your British bias. I think you found it.
I'm by the way, I'm 0.5 ahead of you. I don't think that's not British bias.
No, I could just, like. Okay, I'm gonna argue with you. You're still having like not like you still haven't given it a 9, so it's
no, I don't think. I think there's issues in qualifying, but he's got the most points in these last 3 races. You gotta sorry, these last 6 races. You got to take note of that.
Yep.
Especially when I rated him a 4 at the start of the season. You rated him a 5. He's been much better, much better. He's right behind Piastri now in the championship, and I don't I think there's a reason for that. I don't think it's purely based on good circumstance. I think he's worked his way to being right behind him. I'm impressed by him. I know a lot of people don't like him. I've been impressed by him. That's what I'll say.
Okay. Thanks for Piastri. Kind of higher rating than Lando. That's maybe I'm biased here because of me having Oscar as my second favorite driver. Honestly, Imola unlucky, but yeah, he got overtaken by Lando. Monaco, he was beaten fair and square. Then we have Canada. That was I talked about that. Spain controlled dominance. Austria, bad luck. Then lost the wheel-to-wheel battle. Still felt like he was the quicker driver in terms of race pace. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. And Silverstone, again, I feel like he would have won the race if it wasn't for either the safety car or the FIA being FIA. I don't feel like I can go any lower, but also cannot go higher because he has not been as impressive and as in the first 6 races. But also, I don't feel like he did much wrong, honestly. Many unfortunate incidents. Other than that, he was quick, and he's maintaining that consistency as well, which was a very big issue in his first 2 seasons. Like we've seen him being good for a couple of races and then disappearing. I'm really interested to see what he does in the second part of the season, as that has been his weakness. Like the last maybe couple of races, like Coda, Interlagos, and so on, like tracks like those, where the gap between them was significant in the last 2 seasons. I'm really interested to see how that gap evolves. If Piastri can maintain this consistency and this impressiveness. Honestly, 8.5. I cannot go for 9, but also for an 8. I believe there's not many negatives to talk about overall.
I think that's crazy. he's been caught up.
Yeah,
he's only 8 points ahead now. What, like back when we originally did this, he was miles ahead. I don't understand how he can still be ahead of Norris. I get that you might think that Norris is, but for example, you talked there Monaco, he was quicker. Austria, he beat him wheel to wheel, Norris, and you've talked about one Grand Prix where Piastri had had the better drive in Spain, and I completely agree with that. I think in Spain he was very good, but apart from that, in actual races, Norris has been superior.
Well, that's subjective, I would say.
Yeah, fair
I
enough,
mean,
fair
we
enough.
have
I
been,
just, but there's subjectiveness and there's points, right? He has caught him up.
yeah. I mean, you can say that Lewis has caught up Charles, but he's still been worse, right? It's not that the points reflect everything. Like we have
Yeah, but he's
seen
caught him up,
Stroll being ahead of Fernando Alonso in the
he's
points
caught him up,
until this point,
including having a DNF.
which was his fault. It was a very big mistake, by the way.
Yeah,
Nothing,
but
not
no,
nothing
no,
that Piastri had.
yeah, no, I know, but he's still like he's had a DNF and still caught him up on points.
Yeah, sometimes you get fortunate in F1. That's how it goes. Like,
Really, I don't think you can. Fortunate for 6 races. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, my rating for Piastri is going to be a 7. I don't think he's done badly. I just don't think he's been as good as he was at the start of the season. Maybe that's a bit cruel. He has just been slower than his teammate, but this, I'm interested to see from now on where he's going to go because the British Grand Prix definitely brought out a lion in him. Um, do I rate him a 7? Maybe I rate him an 8. Yeah, I rate him an 8. Um, which I know is equal to Norris, but uh, he's came second quite a lot. There's no bad performance from him. I'd say Canada was a pretty bad performance from him, but it was a bad performance overall by McLaren, so we'll ignore that. And the fact that he finishes third in Monaco, again, not his fault. It's because it's Monaco, but still, no bad performance from him. He's very consistent. Uh, but yeah, I do think that he's faltering a bit, and I'm excited to see later on. He's gone through the race in Europe. He's usually quite dominant. And especially last year, the Belgian Grand Prix. Obviously, was it last year or the year before that he wins the sprint race? I think it's the year before, wasn't it? It was
Belgian
his
Grand.
first win in the sprint race.
No, it was Qatar. His first wins in the sprint.
And then Hungary, obviously,
Yeah.
exciting as well. So yeah, I'm excited to see from these next few races where this goes. I think these are really important races for both Norris and for Piastri for the title overall. I think we're really going to start getting into the thick of it now.
Yeah. And yeah, I guess we're done for today. It's been went through. We could look at the standings. It looks like so far the highest rated driver is George Russell. No real question why that is. I believe. Then we have Piastri. Then we have Max. Then we have Alex. And after that, there's a tie between Hadjar and Hulkenberg. So pretty fair rankings, I would say.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy
The
with
average on
us
well.
so far. I think George makes sense as being the best. We probably. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, fair enough.
Okay.
I don't. Yeah.
Looking forward to the next 6 races as I love stats and this is a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, looking forward to it, which we're going to dive into in a sec, aren't we? So, yeah.
Belgian Grand Prix up next. So, gonna wrap this up. Thank you, everyone who's been watching, listening, everything, commenting, liking. We appreciate it all a lot, and we're thankful for your being there. And we'll see you next time for the Belgian Grand Prix predictions. Sure, we're actually gonna record like in 30 minutes. But yeah, peace.
Peace.